Freedom is a right, but not without a fight. It's Rhyme and Reason 660.
There's a rhyme and reason for your life. There's a rhyme and reason why you're...
Hey there, Tony from TonyFunderburk.com over here, where freedom is a right. Yes, and that should be self-evident, as somebody once wrote. At least one somebody who at least once wrote. But apparently, for a lot of knuckleheads, that information just can't make it past the knuckles in those heads. So they toss freedoms out just like they toss their fast food trash out their car windows. And that means freedom is a right you gotta fight for. Uh-oh, did I just end a sentence with a preposition? Nah, well, that's okay, because I believe in the preposition that all men, and even some women too, are created equal in value. So that gives me the freedom to end a sentence with for. Bam, I did it again right there. See it? Hear it? All right. Anyway, I've written on the subject of freedom and talked about the subject of freedom over 80 times on TonyFunderburk.com. And one of those times, I talked about how you got to keep fighting for freedom since there's so many willing to just give it up. It's like to give up being a real man or a real woman. It's just weird. Now, here's some of what I said about the struggle, let's see, just 4 years ago. I'm quoting myself now. Too many people believe only the government can take care of everybody. Too many people are willing to give up freedoms in order to be given something they didn't earn. And in order for government to be able to give anything to certain people, it must first take from other people. Don't know if you know it, but government doesn't make money. It can only spend what it takes from its citizens. For infrastructure and the defense of its people, that's perfectly logical and perfectly reasonable. But to simply take money from some and give it to others, there's a little word for that. It's called stealing. Okay? Stealing. And stealing from hard workers is never, with a capital never, justifiable. Never. It's never stealing is never justifiable. And at the heart of a successful society is freedom. And all nations crumble when they remove freedom or limit it to the so-called elite. America, by the way, will be no exception to that rule. This country can only avoid that crumbling fate when the exceptional, liberty-loving citizens refuse to be victims of tyranny. Yep, you got to refuse to be a victim of a tyranny. Of tyranny. And the way you do that is you obey God rather than man when it's time to do that. Now, there are times when you're supposed to be obeying man and man's laws. But when man's laws run contrary to God's laws, then you stick with God. That's your best bet, because this country will never be able to give you eternal life. As great as America has been, and should still be, but by golly, it just isn't. As great as it has been, it's more of a has-been. It cannot give you eternal life. So, I say, open up, America. Freedom loves this land. Give yourself a fighting chance and a helping hand. You should be the beacon to the world in chains. Shine out from the mountaintops and across the plains. They can't lock down liberty if you fight for it. Open up, America. Time to recommit. All right, I'll leave you with that thought until next time. Thank you so much for tuning in here to the Rhyme and Reason Happy Hour, where it's brought to you by TonyFunderburk.com, where you should rush over there as fast as your nimble fingers will take you. Click on that merch tab, then look for one of those pictures where you can get any kind of t-shirt that's on there by just clicking on them. And the one at the top says, life has rhyme and reason because God made you.
There's a rhyme and